both sides of the game. I guess how to keep goals with the win late in the first half, but then really roll your sleeves up and get it done. With some of the really hard stuff of the game in the third quarter.
Yeah, I mean, I think it was a game that showed us exactly where we're at in the early phase. You know, we sort of consider ourselves a team that when we work hard, we improve, and we saw that if we don't bring our pressure and intensity around the ball, then we can't compete against the best, and the Giants are certainly in that group. So, enormously proud of the response after that. They obviously jumped us, and their pressure and intensity in the early part of the game was just a bit much for us, to be honest. And but the response after quarter time, to obviously the breeze helped in the second quarter, but then to maintain that through the third, and our pressure factor was up over 1.9 in that period of the game against a team that's quite hard to put pressure on. I think the way they play is pretty tough to play against. So I was really pleased the boys were able to respond and maintain the rage for the rest of the game after quarter time.
That's sort of one of the big tests you want to see past. Like you say, they're probably one of the heavyweights of the competition, just to be able to respond and I guess the blow torches and pull out against a really good team.
Yeah, I mean, there was a lot of individual moments in that game that were really important for us, and a lot of individual players had key roles, key phases of the play, and they're a very good side. They're gonna go a long way. I think everyone watches them and thinks they're pretty well drilled, and to be able to beat them down here is really pleasing for us, especially in the way that the game started. So I thought the players responded really well, and their work rate and their work ethic and their belief, I thought, really held us in good stead. But the Giants are the teams we're going to have to beat.
Just on Josh Riddle playing forward, it's obviously nice to have that flexibility chucking forward. How do you see his performance while he was up there?
Yeah, he played small period in the forward line. I think he took 5 intercept marks. I'm not sure if that's a personal best for him. It felt like he was really important in key moments. I thought his composure as well. Sometimes when you've got the physical and athletic profile that he has, you want to use it all the time. But I thought he used it fantastically well today. He used it when it was needed, and then he was able to just play quite conservatively at other times. I thought he played a really mature game. Sometimes you forget because he's physically so dominant in the way that he plays and his physique. I think sometimes you forget how young he is. So to play with his level of maturity tonight, I thought was important for us.
Just on another young player, Nick, obviously had 20 touches, kicked the goal, but probably most impressively was his pressure around the contest. How did you see his performance or not tonight?
Yeah, I mean, I think I chatted to him before. I think it was probably his best game for the club. I know he didn't maybe hit the scoreboard as much as he has in some others, but his importance to us. There was a play in the first quarter where everything was pretty much going against us, and he had no one to kick to. We'd lost all sort of structure of the game, and the game was a mess for us, to be honest. And he just found a way to make something good happen. And I think when you have players who are young like him, giving them the confidence and letting them, show their flair and do their things is an important thing. And fortunately with Nick, that he's someone who he's just so tough. He attacks the ball so hard. I was really pleased that he got a bit of reward for his efforts today, even though he didn't get it on the scoreboard. I thought his performance was. And the other one, probably at the other end of the spectrum, was Jack Gunston. I thought he played a really important role for us. Probably could have kicked a few more. It's unusual for him to be not as straight with his goal kicking, but I thought his role and his performance, Taylor's a phenomenal defender. So the fact that Gunners was able to at least half quell his influence at different stages, I thought was important.
Lloyd Meeko, I guess he's probably not underrated anymore. Just how he's gone over the last year or so. I thought he was super tonight again. So he's just how do you describe his sort of acceleration over particularly the last 12 months or so?
Yeah, I think that the thing with the ruck battle is there's nowhere to hide. There's not really any other positions on the field where you just know directly that player is playing on and against that player. Most other positions, there's a bit of a handover, and they're always on someone a little bit different. It's very unusual, and that I think the ruck battles have been quite fascinating, to be honest, this year. So, and Meekie's, we're pretty glad he's with us, because he's I think the thing that he's grown with his maturity is if he does get beaten, it's not by a lot, and I think sometimes that's important when you're a ruckman. And so when he's on top, he can do a really good job. But sometimes the opposition's getting the upper hand, and when that happens, it's not usually for too long. So it shows again. I feel like I'm saying maturity a lot in this press conference, but I feel like he's matured.
Do you think? Oh, sorry. I think that the team's matured as a whole. 4 wins now in the first 4 matches.
Yeah, I mean, I think so. Last year, really, we wanted to be a club who could be more competitive more often and be in winning positions much more often than we had been before that. And this year, we've been able to handle momentum. I think we've conceded 3 goals in a row, more times than you would like. Obviously, you would never like to, but we've been able to not concede too many in a row. And then today, obviously, they kicked the first 5. And we trying to get that momentum back was quite difficult, but the players handled it well. And I think, as you play together for a long time, and they've got this belief that we work hard on something and then we see improvement in it. And one of the areas of that is managing momentum. So it's part of the work that we've put in, and they're seeing some rewards now.
Just in terms of UTAS Stadium, it's a bit of a different feel, obviously playing a night game, quite windy, but also new change rooms.
Yeah.
A lot of work's been done on that. First of all, what were they like? Did you notice any differences to how they were?
Yeah, they're new. I mean, it's fantastic. Hopefully this is going to be a bit of a home away from home for a long time. We obviously enjoy playing here. We got the new change rooms. We played a practice game here where we were actually in these rooms. So to get the new change rooms, it's like carpet out there. It's beautiful. I was talking to actually our runner who's had a bit of calf trouble over the first 3 weeks, and Zane, he said, I just needed to get down here to UTAS to just get on this nice grass. So there's a bit of feedback for you.
And also, just in terms of the future, I know you guys want to probably stay here as long as possible, and there's a bit of stuff going in the background with the Devils. Is that just a case of you guys, want to just be a Tasmanian team as long as you can be?
Yeah, I think the club and Nash is working pretty hard with the Launceston government to try to make sure that there's still a place for us. I've been personally coming here since 2002, and I would not like to stop doing that. I would love to keep coming here if you'll have us. So I hope that they can work something out, and I think we add value to the Tassie people, and you certainly add value to us. I think it's great for our players to be able to come down here and enjoy. I saw them all up at the gorge this morning, having a swim and all those. I'm not sure they're still going to be there in June, but that'll be interesting. But we love coming down here, and hopefully they can work something out to make it a long-term plan and play for us.
I feel like it can definitely coexist. Like there's definitely room for 2 teams down here to be able to make that work.
I haven't been briefed on this, but my personal view is it makes perfect sense. We've been coming here for over 20 years now, and to have a competitor to the Devils who's we're not maybe all homegrown, but we certainly feel at home here, and to play against them on a regular basis, to play probably here as well as wherever their home ground is, I think it makes perfect sense, and hopefully we can continue to keep some relationship with Tasmania, because we've worked so hard, and the Tassie have embraced us in such a fantastic way for such a long period, that what I really hope is that we can remain part of the landscape down here.
I guess just on the start of the year, I guess a little of the narrative, the outside narrative was how you could handle a bit of the target on your backs, and after starting 0-5, obviously last year, you're 4-0 this year, so you must be happy with, I guess, how the group has handled that expectation at the start of the year as well.
Yeah, I think we've been quite clear that the expectation that we are concerned about is our own, and making sure that we're playing in a manner that we can be proud of and that our fans can be proud of. And our fans have turned up for the games. They've all feel like we've had really good support from our fan base, and not just this year. I think over my whole time coaching, I really feel like the Hawthorn fans have been behind us, and making sure that we live up to their expectations and that of our teammates and our staff and the people who understand all the work that we put in. I think if we can live up to that expectations, then what perhaps you guys say in the media, we don't need to worry too much about that. We just need to make sure we impress the people that we work with, and that we know their opinions really matter the most to us.
Just a quick one on the light as well. So you went out there for a little bit, and there was a little bit of football in the dark there around when Will Day kicked that leg spinning goal. With that sort of process, did you think it had any sort of effect on the contest, or do you think that maybe pause and play, or do you think it was fine to just keep playing?
I thought it was fine. I thought the light was great. Even when the light was out, it's not like it was dark. It was still fine. So I haven't spoken to the players about that, so I'm not actually sure. But it felt like it was fine. I thought it was handled quite well. Thanks, Ross.